confrontation between the North and the South. Nevertheless, the war still bore heavily on the people. It was unavoidable. General Banks' Union Army on the Red River in Louisiana was running into trouble from General Taylor's opposition. Low water levels in the river and a challenging geography. In Arkansas, the cooperating federal column was stumbling. At Charleston, the federal guns still fired occasionally, still making further rubble of Fort Sumter. Elsewhere, raids, sniping, patrols, reconnaissance, and guerrilla activities continued, but eyes turned anxiously towards Virginia. When would it again become the focal point of the struggle? Grant was with Meade's Army of the Potomac, but in front of him was Lee and the now legendary Army of Northern Virginia. At the South, dissatisfaction with Davis and his administration increased as the territory of the Confederacy dwindled. Monday, April 4th, the Army of the Potomac had still another cavalry commander, Major General Philip Sheridan from the West, and what appeared to be the continual improvement of federal forces. The U.S. House of Representatives passed a joint resolution saying that the nation would not permit the establishment of a monarchy in Mexico. This was intended to thwart the plans of Napoleon III of France to place Maximilian of Habsburg on the throne of Mexico. April 6th, Wednesday, the Constitutional Convention of Louisiana met in New Orleans and adopted a new state constitution, abolishing slavery. Thursday, April 7th, the Confederacy ordered Longstreet's Corps, which had spent the winter and spring in East Tennessee, to return to Lee's Army of Northern Virginia. Longstreet had been detached since early September 1863, before the Battle of Chickamauga. Friday, April 8th, Confederates of General Richard Taylor had formed a defensive line at the Sabine Crossroads near Mansfield, Louisiana. Here was the place Taylor decided to halt Banks' advance on Shreveport. The federal expedition was moving on a road too far inland from the Red River and was hindered by wagon trains in the line of Low March. Low water levels made the Union gunboats at Grand Encore useless. Taylor struck a full-scale attack and it was on. Banks' men were forced sharply and they lost several guns. Outflanked on both sides, the Federals gave way with panic and confusion. The road of retreat was blocked by a wagon train, adding to the difficulties. Finally, the troops stood hard and the Southern attack died out. The U.S. Senate passed a joint resolution 38-6 abolishing slavery and approving the 13th Amendment. The resolution reflected the change in the attitude of Congress since the beginning of the war, and there was little real effort in opposition to it. General Grant issued campaign orders. Meade and the Army of the Potomac would make Lee's army the objective. Wherever Lee goes, there you will go also. Banks was on the move to Mobile, Alabama. Sherman was to head into Georgia against Joe Johnson. Sigel was to move south in the Shenandoah. Benjamin Butler was to move against Richmond from the south. The armies of the Union would be on the march in one grand overall operation designed to put simultaneous pressure on all major armies of the Confederacy. This appears to be the beginning of the end, but fierce fighting takes place throughout the remainder of April, with a series of battles at River, Louisiana, Arkansas, Plymouth, North Carolina, and a Union defeat at Fort Pillow, Texas, that was followed by what appeared to be a massacre of Negro and white soldiers. End of report.